Hi, so today's tutorial is the cat eye flick, which actually is probably one of the most difficult things to create in makeup. Actually there's that saying that says, don't ask a girl that wears eyeliner why she's late. It does take a little bit of practice, and I don't mean that in a patronising way. Even I have to tweak it, particularly on myself. I can do it much easier on someone else, but on me I will tweak it. So let me show you how to create it, and let's see how we get on. So I've prepped my skin with the Chanel Beige Eau De Teint, and I've concealed with this Nudies blur stick, which I really like. I've used that around my nose and under my eye, and I really like it. It goes on really easy, nice big stick, and conceals really nice. It's a really nice sheer finish. I've also just done the beginnings of the lines, and I suggest you do the same. I have really tricky eyes for doing the cat eye flick on, as you'll see as we go along. So I've just taken a little bit of eyeshadow on an angled brush, and I've measured it so you go straight from where the eye here, the start of the eye, to the bottom of the brow, and then the same on that side. It's best to mark it out first if you've got very tricky eyes, which I do have. If you've got really easy eyes, you'd probably just be able to go shh, and then it's much easier. But I don't, so I have done that to start off with. So I'm going to take the Chanel Ombré contour pen, and I'm just going to put some shape into my eye alongside the black. These are really easy to use, and they go on really nicely. Just using these nice sort of taupey colours just to put some shape in. Then blend that out. I find these cream contour pens blend really easily, and they give you a nice little bit of colour. So as it's sort of slightly Audrey Hepburn-esque, I'm sort of keeping within these taupe colours. But these colours are also really good for shading the eyes and sort of bringing eyes out. Nice natural colours. So there we have a base. And then I'm going to continue with the Chanel Clair Obscur palette, which I find is really good. There's probably a colour in there for everyone. They're matte colours, and they're really good for shading and shaping and creating a natural look. So I'm just going to add a little bit more now with this to create the cat eye shape. As you can still see my little line. Kind of more concentrating on the outer corner of the eye, because we're wanting to create this sort of elongated cat shape. And then just a little bit of this colour just underneath the eye, more sort of shading to open the eye out. So you can see the eyes just starting to take some shape and have a bit of colour on it. Okay, so now we're ready to start creating the cat eye shape. So I've taken a little bit of the black MAC carbon, and I've added a little bit of fixing spray, but you could use water. And I'm just going to start by using this powder. It's going to go in 3 stages. Powder, and then liquid, and a pencil, because if you want to get that real sort of like look, it needs to be perfect. And also I find that this layering effect works really, really well. So I'm going to use the line that I've already created, and then I'm going to go back and create the flick. So I don't want to take because I've got small eyes, I don't really want to sort of make it go all the way across. I want to concentrate it on the outer corner of the eye. Now, particularly if you've got eyes like I have, it does take a little bit of trickery, and it does take a little bit of work, and it does take a little bit of practice. If you've got really sort of easy almond eyes, you'll just be able to go straight across. But if you're more like me, then it will be a little bit of fiddling here and there. But I'm going to show you how to perfect it. So I'm going to concentrate mine on the outer corners and just do a very, very thin line to about 3/4. There. I think that's a pretty good shape. So I'm going to work on the other eye now. Same thing. Use the shape that we've already created. So this eye is slightly different to the other eye. This is like I'd call it my lazy eye. But you have to work with what you have. And with makeup, you can do a little bit of trickery. There. That's probably a little bit thicker, but we'll work on that. That will happen. Because that's okay. This is just the first stage of doing the eye. So once you've got your lines in place, we can move on to liquid. But if you do make a little mistake, if you take a flat brush and some micellar water, and you can just buff it off on your hand, but just like move it along there, and it will correct any mistakes, and you'll get a nice sharp line. So now we have the lines here. Oh, sorry, I nearly forgot a stage. So to make it look sort of very sort of strong, I'm going to use this Ilia black coal and just go into the upper lash line, which can be a little bit uncomfortable, but it will be worth it because it will make your cat eye look much stronger. And also it makes your eyelashes look longer, and it just gives that eye a lot of power. Make sure you fill in all of the gaps. I'm going to try and do it. Oh. This pencil's waterproof. I had it on yesterday and on the top line, and it lasted all day. It didn't drop down. If you do tear up a bit, head back, take a big sniff, and it gets rid of the tears. It's a little makeup artist trick. There. My eyes don't like it, but you can definitely see the difference. So, and it also means that it kind of meets. I mean, if you've got really big eyes, you know, by all means go all the way across with the eye. But because my eyes are smaller, I don't want to do that. A, because it sort of brings them in, and B, it's going to make them look smaller, which is not the reason for doing the cat eye. So the next, I'm going to take the Chanel, it's a new liquid liner, and I'm going to trace over the liquid powder that I've already got on. So it should be quite easy doing this now, because you've already got your line in. And these are quite easy to use. Oh, made a mistake, but that's okay. I'll show you how to correct that in a minute. That was because I wasn't using the mirror. Trying to do it just by looking at the phone. So you can see how much stronger that is compared to the other eye. And then the same on the other eye. It should be just as easy to make sure I'm not blocking what I'm doing, so you can see what I'm doing. So you're just tracing over what you've already done, the lines that you've already put into place. And just keeping it concentrated on the outer corner. So I'll show you how to do a little correction. So I've made that little mistake there. We don't like that. We want it to be perfect. So just take a little bit of cleanser on the brush and just take it away. See, it just takes it away. Because it's just makeup and it can easily be corrected. Just need to make sure that brush is clean. Sharpen that up. Because you want, it's really important to have nice sharp lines. You don't want like, I don't know, you know, like a non-pointed line. You want it to be nice and sharp because it's a cat eye. It's not a soft look. I mean, it's not the easiest look to create. I don't want to sound patronising. It is only makeup, but it does take a little bit of practice. I mean, particularly if you've got tricky eyes like me, you'll see me fiddling with this. I find it a lot easier to do on other people. But it's worth the practice. There, so you can see that's nice and sharp. I've corrected my mistake and it's looking quite black. And it's pulling the eyes out. So you can see I've sort of got quite a sort of cat eye effect. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of the Diego del Palma white into the inner waterline. And I'm going to go back in with some of the Chanel powder just before I put the mascara on, just because some of it sort of came off a little bit whilst I was doing the cat eye, which you might find happens. So just be careful when you go back in using this taupey colour and just renewing that little bit there. And there, just to sort of give the eye some shape. And a little bit underneath again. Kind of makes me feel all fluttery. I'm not used to wearing a cat eye. I'm going to use the Diego del Palma lash boosting mascara, which is a really good mascara. I'm not going to use eyelashes, although it would be sort of like a traditional thing to do if it was like a 50s look. I don't think you need them. So you need to make sure your eyelashes are kind of going in the direction of the flick. So when you're applying your mascara, sort of angle them towards the flick, and it will give you that extra sort of cat eye look. This is a really good mascara. I'm only going to put it on the top because I'm kind of making it all about the top. Because I think with a cat eye, it's kind of all about this, you know? Lots and lots of mascara. build it up. Prove we don't need false eyelashes. And on the other side. It's good, this mascara, I like it. More. Really concentrating on the outer corner and really making sure that the lashes go in the direction of the flick. There, I mean, that's giving me major lashes. And also putting the black underneath the eye like really gives the eye like a really good definition. So I'm not going to put anything on the bottom. Just a personal preference, you can if you want to, it's just I like to keep it clean. And then I'm going to go back in with the concealer and just go in where it may have come off from where we've been fiddling around with the eye to get it right, and just go right up so it's all correct. These are really good, so you can use them straight onto your eye. I really like these actually, and the coverage is really nice as well. So it's just making sure that that's really clean. Just pat, pat, pat. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the lighter one just to add a little bit of lightness just underneath here. So a little bit of lighter concealer just also sort of adds to the look. That's not a very good noise to make, is it? It adds to sort of the, you know, the sharpness of the look. Not a slurping noise. Nobody needs to hear that. Okay, so that's the eye so far. So now I just want to sort of add a little bit more to the face. And I'm going to use this Dear Dahlia that I'm a little bit obsessed with. This gorgeous sort of corally colour, because Audrey Hepburn did sort of have like a corally lip, which I'm sort of kind of going to do. But I mean, when I do something, I never look back. I sort of reference, look at it and then make it modern. So it's never going to be like an exact replica. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my index finger and just rub that into my cheek just to give me a little bit of colour, but keeping it quite high. Just a little bit. I mean, we don't want to detract too much away from the eye, but we do want to put like just a little bit of colour in the skin, but keep it around the apples and just keep it quite high, because this look is all about is all about lift. So keep everything lifted and youthful. These go on really, really nice. This is a really nice colour. I'm also going to pop a little bit of this on the lip. I like the colour. I also like a multi-use product. Handy. So I'm just popping a little bit of that on the lip for now, but that's not the finished lip. I just quite like it. And then I'm just going to softly sculpt my face with the Burberry contour pen that I use all the time, I know. But it is really, really good for shaping the face naturally. So I'm just going to do that. I think that's all I need. Whenever I'm doing someone's makeup and I do that, I always go, and that's it, and then leave them. It's just a little joke. I think I'm missing doing that. Just notice I've got a bit of, clean that up. So that's the face shaped. And then I'm going to add a little bit of highlighter, my favourite, Balm Essential, Chanel, just onto the top of the cheekbones, just to keep it modern. And then for the lip, I'm going to use, on top of that, I'm going to use, I mean, that is quite nice. You could just stop there. I mean, in fact, I could go in with this Dear Dahlia gloss on top of this would be quite nice, actually. I've changed my mind. This is quite nice. And actually, it's kind of quite that sort of Audrey 50s colour. I mean, no lip liner, because it's a glossy lip. It's not too noticeable about my uneven lips. There. Now, a 50s brow would probably be quite full. And if you have got skinny brows and you want to create a full brow, I would, in this case, suggest an old-fashioned trick, which is using a clear soap and soaping them down. So you take the soap and you wet it, you use a spoolie and you brush it through and you let it dry and it sort of flattens to the skin. But as I've mentioned in a brow tutorial, if you've got like really like quite full brows like mine, you end up just looking a bit shocked. So it's really only if you want to make a skinny brow a bit fuller, or you've got a difficult over plucked brow. So you'd flatten them down and then you'd be able to fill them in with an angled brush, and so you will get a fuller brow. I'm just going to fill mine in a little bit because my brows are quite full and I don't want to detract away from the eye, because this look is all about the eye. I mean, I know sort of a 50s brow would be quite filled and it would be quite sort of, but I don't think it's very modern. So in order for this look to be modern, I think it kind of has to have those modern elements of a modern brow, you know, of a modern lip, of a modern eye. So that, I think, is it. So I'll take out the clips. So that is the cat eye flick on very difficult eyes. So if I can do it on my eyes, I think with a bit of practice, I definitely think that everyone will be able to do it on their eyes. And if you have got difficult eyes like me, you can see how you can, with a little bit of trickery, create it. Let me know how you get on. If you have any questions, please leave it below or DM me, very happy to help. And if you do it, send me a picture. I'd really like to see it. So thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll see you next week.